Why did the Philippines cancel a multi-billion-dollar high-speed rail order from China and turn to cooperation with Japan? Why did it regret it later? The Philippines took the initiative to sign a light rail contract with China, but unilaterally cancelled hundreds of millions of orders due to the poor quality of Chinese trains. Not only did China get a refund, but it also asked China to pay $10 billion in compensation, but it turned around and cooperated with Japan. This was how it happened? Did Chinese trains really have quality problems? In January 2014, after inspection and negotiation, the Philippines signed a large contract of 540 million renminbi with China's CRRC Dalian company. 48 light rail carriages have been ordered from China and are scheduled to be delivered before January 26, 2017. Since this is the first time that a Chinese rail equipment company has entered the Philippine market, the minimum passing curve radius of the light rail is only 25 meters, and the completed vehicles cannot be transported as a whole. The Chinese construction team went to the local area for assembly. Under the harsh environment of unbearable heat, 48 light rail trains were assembled on site 48 times, completing the contract contents in advance with quality and quantity. However, 7 days after the train was delivered, the Philippines suddenly proposed to cancel the contract and terminate the cooperation on the grounds of substandard quality. Not only did China want a full refund, but it also wanted to pay $10 billion in compensation. So why did the Philippines insist on tearing up the multi-billion-dollar contract signed with China? Are there really problems with trains made in China? Actually not. China was very indignant about the Philippines' breach of contract and sent a team of experts to the Philippines to conduct a comprehensive inspection and evaluation of the carriages. The results proved that the carriages built in China fully met the technical standards and quality requirements without any problems, and were fully compatible with the Philippine high-speed rail signaling system. None of the various train issues raised by the Philippines came up. Even the German third-party testing agency hired by the Philippines claimed that there were no problems with the Chinese-made trains. He even praised China's specially designed trains based on local conditions. Doing so is really a matter of nitpicking, and unilateral breach of contract is not a trivial matter. Not only has the Philippines damaged its own country's credibility and image, it has also offended a powerful and friendly neighbor. China produced the testing evidence and made stern representations to the Philippines. China has asked the Philippines to immediately pay the balance and apologize, otherwise it will bear legal responsibility. The real reason why the Philippines did this was actually Japan's interference. After the German testing agency also said that there were no problems with the Chinese trains, the Philippines still refused to give up and took the matter to the United Nations Quality Inspection Agency. Before the results of the United Nations Quality Inspection Agency came out, the Philippines eagerly re-signed the contract with Japan. It turns out that Japan is dissatisfied with China's international development. It is obvious that our own rail transit developed earlier and better than China's, but in the end it cannot compare with China's. Take high-speed rail as an example. Japan's high-speed rail was developed in the 1960s, nearly half a century earlier than China. Before the rise of China's high-speed rail, Japan had its own independent high-speed rail technology system, which was among the best in the world. Now, with the successful commissioning of the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed railway in Indonesia built by China, China's high-speed railway has been widely recognized internationally. On the other hand, Japan's high-speed railway has suffered repeated setbacks. Of course, Japan is not convinced. After China and the Philippines signed the light rail contract, the Japanese team obstructed it. Japan used its historical ties and economic influence with the Philippines to spread rumors among the Philippine government and media. It is said that China's high-speed rail carriages are of poor quality and are incompatible with the Philippines' existing signaling system. This is because China deliberately sells substandard products to the Philippines. At the same time, Japan also tempted the Philippines with low prices, saying that it can buy Japanese high-speed rail carriages for only $30 million, which is much cheaper than China's price of hundreds of millions of US. The Philippines listened to Japan's slander and took advantage of Japan, so it credulously unilaterally broke the contract with China and signed a new contract with Japan. However, all this is a Japanese trap. The result was what Japan wanted. Unable to withstand the temptation and not wanting to pay liquidated damages, the Philippines fabricated so-called quality problems out of thin air, unilaterally tore up the contract with China, and turned around to embrace Japan. So why did the Philippines later break up with Japan and seek help from China again? It turned out that after signing the contract, Japan, which had been well negotiated before, was still slow to start construction. Construction finally started, but a scandal about Japan's high-speed rail broke out internationally. The high-speed rail that Japan built for Britain in the early days actually had problems during its first operation. The air conditioning system failed and the entire carriage turned into a water curtain hole. Even during the subsequent operation, the train spontaneously ignited due to the loss of a part. On this side, due to the low cost, most of the trains Japan repaired for the Philippines used sub-grade steel, and the quality was seriously substandard. They had no choice but to stop the construction period. The Philippines realized that they had done something wrong and had been deceived by Japan. Seeing that something was wrong, the Philippines tore up its agreement with Japan and found China again, hoping to continue its previous cooperation. China is somewhat hesitant about the Philippines' request for cooperation again. After all, it has been hurt and insulted by the Philippines before. However, China still showed magnanimity and tolerance, agreed to the Philippines' request, and continued to provide the Philippines with high-quality high-speed rail carriages. This incident not only demonstrates the technological and quality advantages of China's high-speed rail, but also demonstrates China's rationality and wisdom in international affairs. China did not give up cooperation with the Philippines out of temporary anger. Instead, China focused on the overall situation and let its strength speak for itself. Doing so not only safeguards the interests and dignity of one's own country, but also promotes friendly relations with the Philippines and regional stability. In order to show its sincerity, the Philippines not only consciously made up the remaining balance, but also handed over several other domestic railway projects to China, including the Subic-Clark Railway project worth $940 million. This incident has brought us many revelations and lessons. First of all, integrity is the basis and principle of cooperation between countries. No country can easily break its commitments and agreements, otherwise it will lose trust and respect, and it will also bring losses and risks to its own country. Secondly, don't believe in the slanders and temptations of other countries, and you must make your own judgment and choice. Some countries may deliberately undermine cooperative relationships with other countries for their own interests and purposes, or deceive other countries with low prices and false promises. Such cooperation is unreliable and has hidden dangers. Finally, we must have a tolerant and inclusive mentality and engage in friendly and peaceful cooperation with other countries. Sometimes, some misunderstandings and disagreements may arise during cooperation, but as long as both parties can communicate and negotiate rationally, conflicts can be resolved and trust restored. Cooperation is a win-win approach that can bring common benefits and development to all countries. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more great content. See you next time.